Hello, I'm Zach Van Sliders from Old Man Gaming, and this is another horrible game review. So, let's start off with the disclaimers as usual. Number one, I don't get paid for this, so I won't be going back and editing it. You might hear my dog, my kid, me pause. I'm just a house dad, so I don't do this professionally. Number two, I don't give games scores. I think video games are one of the most subjective forms of art, and therefore I just give an overview of it, pros and cons, kind of an everyman's look at whether or not you should play the game. Also, usually I'd give you another disclaimer about how I don't always play this game for more than like 5-10 hours. Like I said, it's just a first opinion, snap judgment sort of situation. However, I can tell you the game that I'm reviewing today, I have had quite a bit of experience with. And that game is No Man's Sky. And this review will be as of the Beyond update, or No Man's Sky 2.0, in August of 2019. Now, No Man's Sky has had a pretty tortured experience. It started off, breaking everybody's hype. Everybody was very unhappy with it, very unhappy with Sean Murray, the creator. And that was back on PlayStation. Then, about a year after that, they put their heads down, they worked on it, they slowly made updates to the game. They released it on Xbox with the next update. And now this is their biggest update to date, which has a more customized multiplayer suite. It's also much more interactive with the animals on the planet. Since then, they've also added more biomes to the planets and more stuff you can do with underwater things. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If you've never played No Man's Sky, it's a procedurally generated space exploration game. You take control of a character who has just woken up. He's got amnesia. He's kind of mysterious or whatever. And the story is kind of loosely put together. Really, the idea of it is you go into a universe. That universe has pre-created planets, each planet with its own plants, animals, minerals, whether you can breathe the oxygen, when you can't, that sort of thing. There's also a lot of crafting elements to it. Actually, the majority of the stuff that the character will be doing in the game is crafting. You have to break down minerals out of the plants and minerals and creatures that you find to create more items for you. You also do a lot of merchanting with your spaceship and try and collect units with that. One of the other additions to it is you can actually create a fleet of vessels that carry out missions for you, and you can basically almost build your own empire to it. So one of the things that they added in the Beyond update is you can summon this place called the Nexus and go in, and basically other players are supposed to be there, and then you can do missions with them. You can also get them to join your game, and a lot of the fun in this game is getting on a planet with other people who already have a city. People have created something called a galactic hub, where it's just this planet with tons of people there. It's very interesting what people have done in the shared space with this game. This game is really not built for combat or fast-paced play. If you're somebody who likes the action or shooters, and that's the only kind of game you want to play, this really isn't the game. This is a very chilled experience of exploration and kind of finding cool things and crafting and making cool houses and buildings and structures. Kind of in the vein of Minecraft. I will say there is some truly stunning space battles in this, but other than that, there is not a whole lot of combat. Alright, with that, let's get to the nitty-gritty, the pros. I don't know what this game looked like at release. I've never owned a PlayStation, but what it looks like now is pretty good. It's there's never, you're never going to not have something to do in the game. there is always an activity or a thing to craft or a thing to build or a thing to explore. And even when you may run out of that stuff, you can just go to another universe, go to another galaxy even. And you could even do the story quest, which we'll talk about in the cons a little bit. There's still at least something to do. This game is full of stuff to do, like true stuff to do. Now, again, it's not non-stop heart-pounding action stuff, but there's always task-based stuff to do in this game, which is really nice and really beautiful. I think what they've done with the creatures and the biomes are very interesting, and I have been playing it since it came out on Xbox, which I think is roughly a year ago, and I gotta say, every time I jack in, even when I'm just doing it because I'm bored and I got nothing else to do, I find something interesting, something new, and that's really cool to me. I like the exploration aspect. And I gotta say, if you're a person who likes space exploration games, chill space exploration games, this is the one. I would bypass all the other pretenders out there and go to this. I mean, however it started out, however it didn't, this is definitely the one that is for you. Bugs and all. Alright, that brings us to the cons. Unfortunately, there are a lot, and unfortunately, there are a little bit more since the Beyond update, which kind of bummed me out. So I'm going to get right into the real cons of this game, and that's the bugs. And now, it seems like every time they do a big update, we go through this where there's 2 or 3 months where the game is very buggy, and that's really a bummer. I'm sorry, I appreciate the whole redemption story behind this, but there's got to be a point where we hold them accountable for the bugs and technical problems that they keep having. I'm not talking about just minor stuff. I'm talking about 3 different times I went to play the Beyond update and the game just crashed halfway through something I was doing. Another time, my character fell through the floor of a spaceship, not all the way into space, and just got stuck in this in-between zone, forcing me to reboot it. And then, of course, there's the thing that drives me nuts, absolutely nuts, and that is the fact that the rendering and graphics don't seem to load in for huge periods of time. That makes me insane. I can't stress enough, this game is about the visuals. This game is about finding new things and experiencing new things and seeing new things. And I don't want it to look like a big green blotch in front of me. And that bothers me. It just does. When your game is all about looking at stuff, I need to be happy looking at stuff. And that's just the way that is. Aside from the bugs, the other cons are mainly kind of cons that would be... I don't know how you would fix them. This game is impossibly slow. Impossibly slow. The amount of time it takes you to do stuff. I think it takes about 2 hours to get through the tutorial. The tutorial mission stuff, which is a crazy amount of time when you think about other games and what they are. And don't get me wrong, I know this is supposed to be a chill experience. It's supposed to be a little bit slower, but that's a little slow. There's often to do a cool thing, you have to acquire so much technology and so much this and so much that. The other problem with this is I don't feel like there is enough guidance. I mean, there's so many cool things that I didn't discover until hour 60, hour 100, because I didn't even know they were in the game, because they were so many levels in and there's nobody telling me how to get to that thing until I basically saw somebody doing it online and asked somebody. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I want to be able to use all the features of my game. Even if it takes me a little bit to get to them, I want to know that they're there, and I want to know how to get to them. Case in point, the Beyond update, one of the coolest things is you can now farm animals. You couldn't do that before. You can also befriend animals and ride animals, which is really cool. The interactivity with the animals needed to be there, and that's been something I've been wanting for the beginning. However, I played for about 8 hours after the Beyond update, And I still have no idea how to farm or ride animals, so I don't have any footage of it. I will say I did feed some animals. A ton of animals swarmed in, and then they all pooped at once, which was really, really fun to watch and be a part of. But still, I want to know how to do this stuff in my game. Like, I just do. And maybe I'm stupid. We could chalk that up. I'm not the smartest guy, but still, there's a lot of other stupid people going to try and play this game, and you got to make something for them. Okay, so I just want to go back to a Final Pro. Like I said, if you want a chill space exploration experience, there is no better game than this. Not in my opinion, anyway. It is absolutely one of a kind experience. Bugs and all, I enjoy it every time I jack in, and the space battles are exquisite. Truly exquisite and fun to play and fun to be a part of. Okay. Alright, P.S. I'm adding one little thing to this, one little last con, and that's because I recorded the bulk of this before I found it. I have tried to go into the Nexus 3 or 4 times now and never seen anybody else. And I don't know if that's because I'm doing something wrong or if they don't have a huge player count, or I don't know how it's divided up, but I think I saw one person once, they immediately flew away, and that was it. So it hurts a little bit that this is a multiplayer update, and it doesn't really seem like, just seems like I've got farther to walk in that station, and it's just as empty as it was before. Alright, so this has been a horrible game review. It's terrible, and like I said, if you want a good one, I urge you to go out and seek a better review of No Man's Sky. But for now, I hope I helped you, and as long as you guys keep watching these videos, I will keep watch more of these terrible, horrible reviews. Well, you're in luck, because if low production values are your thing, click any of the things you see around you to see more terrible reviews that I did in my basement. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for a steady stream of abuse.